Hi, welcome to the HR Source's first of two live chats for the month of June. I'm your host, Terry Denoon, Talent Acquisition Specialist here at the HR Source. Today's live chat will be about recruiting, and joining me for our discussion will be Suzie Grieco, President of SG2 Recruiting right here in Washington, D.C. Hi, Suzie. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Terry. Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Now, first off, I want to ask you, Suzie, SG2 is a very unique recruitment process outsourcing firm. Can you tell me a little bit more about SG2?
Sure. We're a small company, sort of a boutique RPO, recruiting process outsourcing provider. Our niche has been primarily to support clients who are working in the federal space, contracting space, and the IT space, looking for cleared professionals supporting the DoD and the IC agencies throughout the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, and sometimes even around the country.
Awesome. So you guys have a national presence as well.
Correct.
Nice, nice. So from your point of view, what are some of the top recruiting trends for 2017?
Trends by way of what types of candidate skill sets I'm looking for?
Candidate skill sets, industry benchmarks, industry trends. From your point of view, what have you been seeing so far this year?
Well, most of the hardest skill sets have been defined. The most popular to seek after have been the DevOps space. It's the new, it's coined DevOps, but it really is a combination of development and operations. So it's blended skill sets, very unique, very hard to find. So people who either grew up as developers and want to understand the systems engineering side, or systems engineers who decided they really were good at sort of developing automation tools and a little bit more and applying those skill sets in sort of the development space. So those skill sets, very hard to find, very popular for individuals to hire these days.
Gotcha. Now, I guess my next question to follow that up would be, why do you think these skill sets are so hard to find, so niche?
It's a relatively new concept. And people would say it's been around for a while, where production environments and testing environments were working with developers. But in historical concept, from a historical perspective, they had been separated. Over the past 5 years, they've become a little bit more integrated to be able to develop applications at a much faster iteration. And so the integration of those two sort of skill sets has been more recent, and people are sort of coining the new term. So people looking for DevOps wouldn't have called themselves DevOps until recently.
Gotcha. Now, kind of sticking with the 21st century theme there, as we're kind of halfway through 2017 already. That's hard to believe.
I know.
Yeah. How should recruiters reach the growing millennial workforce? Are there specific ways or differences as it relates to making contact with those millennials as opposed to folks of Generation X or Generation Y or even baby boomers?
You know what, I'm going to have to say, I'm going to sort of describe what I think works really well for us. And that is, I know everyone's saying, go after them via social media, but it really does work. It sort of sets us apart from the individuals who are using the traditional job boards, and people tend to be a little bit more responsive if I'm sort of engaging them either on a meetup chat board, or if I'm talking to them or respond to something, they respond to my Twitter account. So engaging in a real dialogue with them about their areas of interest that relate to my clients' interests seems to be something that resonates a lot better with the more junior candidates. When I say junior, the millennials who are growing up, who are probably somewhere in their, the 5 to 10 year range, and sometimes even younger in terms of experience.
That's amazing. And it's a great tool. I would say social media has really been a game changer for the industry overall. So absolutely. And sticking with that as well, in today's digital world, are there different ways that recruiters can collect information about candidates and companies as well? What have you sort of run into in conducting your business in that regard?
There are several social media aggregators that have been excellent in supporting our recruiting efforts. And I think they're key differentiators for recruiters who will sort of differentiate themselves from other recruiters in the space. Some of those tools include Hiring Solved, Career Builder has a product called Career Builder Edge, which basically sort of scrapes all social media. That includes Twitter, Meetups, LinkedIn. It also includes some of the Instagram, GitHub, Stack Overflow. So anywhere where people Quora. So anywhere where people are having a dialogue, they pull up the keywords and aggregate it. So when I go to talk to a candidate, I can see that where they're posting, what their interests are. So using the social media aggregating tools, we collect that information. Someone does it for us, and we are able to put them into our applicant tracking systems.
Awesome. I actually had to make a note of a few of those resources as well. This
They're phenomenal. Just so you know, I swear by them. They increased our response rates among the candidates of all experiences from 10% to 40%.
Wow. Okay. That is amazing. And again, this will be up on our YouTube channel once we're complete here. So if you missed out on some of those resources that Suzie just named, you can always go back to our YouTube channel, check our video out, and you can go back and jot down whatever notes you need to. So I guess lastly, what I would like to know is from your perspective, do you have any advice or tips on metrics that candidates should be aware of when applying for positions or even going for interviews, that sort of thing?
I think in as much as we recruiters use social media to start identifying the great candidates for our clients and for our teams, is for candidates to also use social media to sort of increase the likelihood that their profile will be found by recruiters. So if they are either an IT professional or a human capital professional looking to change jobs, then perhaps start engaging in dialogues in Q&A forums that are related to the industry of interest. And those keywords will start being picked up by the social media sort of scrapers, if you will, like the ones I mentioned, Career Builder Edge and Monster's Talent Bin. And then all of a sudden their profile will come up higher in our searches. So it's no longer enough to post your resume. If any of the good recruiters even use those job boards anymore, I hate to say that. You have to be seen on social media. After you get your LinkedIn profile cleaned up and sort of reflecting what you're looking for, start thinking about how you're going to show your presence on Meetup. How are you going to show your presence on GitHub? How are you going to show your presence on either Twitter or blogging platforms that increase the likelihood that your profile will be found?
Very, very phenomenal information. I appreciate that, Suzie. And just so our audience knows, if they'd like to contact you, can you give them your information, please?
Sure. I can be reached at sg2recruiting.com. And if I'm a recruiter, so I talk to people on the phone. So I can also be called the traditional way, which is pick up the phone at 703-675-6286. Awesome,
Suzie. And I actually had one more question for you. What are your favorite tools in regards to recruiting? Do you have any favorites that?
I swear by Talent Bin. I swear by it. If there's nothing else that I would use, it would be Talent Bin. It's a phenomenal tool. It's a social media aggregator, as I mentioned, but because I focus on the IT space, they target specifically social media social media platforms that are used by IT professionals. And so Hiring Solved and Career Builder Edge are more generic. They cover a broader group of social media outlets, not necessarily targeted to just IT professionals.
Nice. Well, very good advice from the president of SG2 Recruiting, Miss Suzie Grieco. I appreciate your time this afternoon. Thanks a lot, Suzie. For our audience, don't forget, we've got another live chat coming up this month on June 13th. We're going to get you ready for the SHRM 2017 conference. So join us for our live chat then. We've also got a great networking happy hour event at Union Jackson, Columbia, Maryland on the same day, June 13th from 5 to 8, where you can come on by, do some networking, and you'll actually have a chance to enter a contest to win a free Amazon Echo and also a HOCO membership as well. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Again, Suzie, thanks a lot for your time this afternoon.
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
What was that?
I enjoyed it.
Oh, I did as well. I appreciate it, Suzie. We'll talk again soon. Thanks for tuning in to our HR Source live chat for today. I've been your host, Terry Denoon. See you again soon.
Thank you.